Hey everyone, this is Jordan with Food Bevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I have an awesome conversation with Kailey, founder of Sacred Serve, and would love to just jump right in. So Kailey, I'd love for you to give a quick overview of what Sacred Serve is, why it's great, and how you got started.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sacred Serve is a line of gelato, plant-based gelato, that was really designed to bring more function into frozen indulgence. So what that means is each one of our ingredients is chosen first and foremost for its health promoting properties. And then we really work on flavoring and textures after that. So really centered around this nutrient dense concept. And the reason I started this was because I had my own journey of healing through a plant-based diet. I actually suffered really severe cases of both asthma and allergies growing up. And every doctor told me I would need medicine for the rest of my life, and that I was just born this way. But when I was 25, I did a 2-week kind of raw food cleanse, just eating fresh fruits and vegetables. And during that short amount of time, my body completely healed itself of both of those conditions. And so I really recognized that not only was I not born this way, but it was actually the food I had been eating my whole life that was making me so sick.
I mean, that's amazing. And we all know, right? Like food is so pivotal, but a lot of times we don't really think about the foods that we eat. And for me starting out, I thought this food is like calories. Like I just needed to eat something and not thought about like what we actually need to eat. So I think that's amazing. And with the business you've been growing for a number of years now, talk about some of the challenges of starting a plant-based gelato company that you had to overcome.
Yeah, gosh, it's like, where do you even start? I think, I had some knowledge and experience working with another health food company here in Chicago, but they sell shelf stable products. So getting into a frozen business was something that I really had no experience in and was very naive coming out of the gate on that. So some of the challenges around just storage. I mean, you think anyone with a shelf stable product can just store their product in their car or their apartment and they can just very easily ship samples. But for me, I had to buy, a chest freezer that sits in my bedroom, which is very uncool. And I had to buy this, portable freezer that plugs into the car battery and drive that around in my van. I drive a minivan because of that. And, we have to build out all of this like really heavy duty sub-zero freezer storage in our production space. So all of these things were something that I didn't really think about. And the pricing along the supply chain as well is very elevated. So our product is more expensive at retail that you would get. So that's been a big challenge for sure, is kind of managing that and the food safety elements of it. And then I think probably the second challenge that I wasn't totally prepared for was I'm a solo founder. And so, oftentimes when there's co-founders, it's great and you can move the business along twice as fast because there's two of you that are as committed, working for free, doing all of these things. But once you're a solo founder, it's very tough to find other people that are going to be as obsessed with this product as you are. And virtually no one is going to be willing to work for free and get this off the ground with you. So it can often just take twice as long or require more capital and just more investment up front to really move these businesses forward.
Yeah, those are two really great points that are so crucial in kind of making the decision for anyone starting a business and how you go about doing it. It's always interesting because I hear all the time like founders that start on their own always wish they had a partner, and then sometimes founders with a partner wish they were doing it on their own. And so it's really tough. And I think, no matter which way you go, it's really, really challenging to do everything. And so I think that's hard. And then you were also like making and producing it all yourself too.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's another major element is that very early, we still manufacture in-house, but when it was still just myself, I was making the product, buying for it, selling it, delivering it, trying to grow the business, doing the marketing, scheduling events. So, I hit burnout, that's for sure. And that's a huge, warning sign to anyone. Those symptoms of burnout are very severe. But yeah, I ended up actually kind of having to pull back. I went just, came out hot, sold into about 50 independents in Chicago and was running this little business model, and realized very quickly that I was becoming the bottleneck and I would kind of need to restructure. So I ended up pulling out of all of those stores and compiling all my limited resources to one larger store launch so I could streamline things, get more data, and it was Whole Foods. So, it was a bigger name and would help us really scale. So that was something that I had to do early on, was just really keep it focused. Granted, there's risk around putting all your eggs in one basket, but it was early enough that it was kind of the point in time that was very helpful to really just stick with one retailer, get the volumes up, get the data coming through there, and just at least have kind of a structured distribution plan.
No, I think that's great. As I talk with founders about last year in 2020 and how they dealt with the pandemic, it seems that it affected every single business completely differently. How did last year affect Sacred Serve, and where are you kind of looking now into the future?
Yeah, it was hard on our business for sure because our most of our distribution being a frozen product is through retailers. And so because we're an emerging brand, we don't have a ton of coverage and distribution right now. So we saw foot traffic drop. And we rely a lot on discovery and trial for new customers. And so when people couldn't come just see us on shelf, it became very difficult to acquire new customers. And at the same time, we were dealing with buyers not wanting to look at new products and only remaining focused on their existing product assortment, just kind of getting through that pandemic surge. So we ended up pivoting a little bit. We switched to all the delivery apps. So at least on a local basis, we were running a ton of deliveries through Uber Eats and a handful of the other ones. So that was really helpful for us. And we had already had nationwide shipping from our website. So we did see an increase there as well. But it definitely, I would say, set us back in terms of acquiring new stores during that time.
I love that you started partnering with the Delivery Act, because most people just think of those for like
Right.
restaurants or
Right.
retail stores, but you're able to do that from your commercial kitchen that you have. Was that easy to get set up on, or have you noticed any like types of customer behavior buying through there?
Yeah, I actually set us up on Uber Eats like 2.5 years ago. So I was very fortunate that that was something I could just kind of switch back on during the pandemic. I think we've seen just similar people. So everyone that was kind of going to Whole Foods before was now not necessarily wanting to leave their house and wanting this treat. But interestingly enough, where our production facility is, the radius for what Uber Eats could service around that is quite small. So I ended up lugging another chest freezer to my apartment, which is a more mainstream area in the city, and running Uber Eats out of my apartment because we're, kind of this closed finished product. It's easy enough to just store it and hand it out. So we're getting all these Uber drivers very confused, being like, "What are you selling out of this apartment?"
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. They're just like, what am I doing? This is an apartment I'm showing up
Yeah.
at. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And then like as you're looking to, we're geez, like 4 months into 2020, have you shifted your strategy any? Are you kind of sticking with the current plan? What's kind of new for this year?
Yeah, we're sticking with the current plan of leaning heavy on retail again. We've expanded to a couple new regions. So that's really our biggest push right now is, remaining very focused on velocities, but looking to grow our distribution more. We just brought on a new sales team that we're very excited about. And we're excited about getting to the coast. I think it's been really great to see the warm reception for this product here in the Midwest, that I know because it's so innovative, we're already seeing some really early adoption on the coast that is exciting for us.
That's awesome. This something that I struggled with, being like born and raised in Chicago and it having such a great food scene, but then seeing the exponential growth of these kind of cutting edge foods on the coast, more so in the Midwest. And it's been
Right.
challenging, I think, for Midwest brands who are like, see increased sales, like if they're based in California or New York, a lot of times. Have you had like lots of customers kind of asking about you in California or on the coast?
Yeah, we have. And I think that there's just, again, like we're a premium position product, so we're a little bit more expensive because of the ingredients that we're working with. And what I'm seeing more than anything is a willingness to spend and invest in healthier food products on the coast more than I'm seeing that attitude here in the Midwest for whatever that reason is. But yeah, we're just noticing the friction is a lot less. You know, out west, people are just, yes, I see it, I get it, I'm picking that up, I'm not questioning it. Whereas there's a little bit more education required. You know, these are general terms. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and I've seen that like people often like try things, but they might not build it as part of their like regular routine. I think
right,
it's hard to
right.
get that. Um, and then thinking back to advice you would give other founders, if you were to kind of meet another founder, what advice would you give them on starting a food or bev business during this time?
Yeah, I would say find a mentor. That was the biggest, I would say that was a game changer for us and really helped challenge a lot of my early thinking, which was so important. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I think it's important for founders to have this kind of naive sense of I'm just going to go for it. You don't know the challenges that lie ahead. But I would say having a mentor, especially as a solo founder, has definitely saved us from a lot of easy to make mistakes and ones that I certainly would have made if I wasn't kind of paying attention to someone that had already potentially made those mistakes themselves.
Very sage advice. Kaylee, thanks so much for joining me today. This is so much fun, and best of luck to Sacred Serve this year.
Thank you so much.